Guys, I gotta say, babysitters are pretty nice. Yeah, I said it. Babysitters are pretty nice to have. You got your kids. They can entertain your kids while you go out and have a time of your life with your fiance, whether if it's your husband or wife. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the babysitting episode of the Powerpuff Girls. But before I do, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. I'm at 126 subs. Thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. But anywho, without any further ado, let's get into the episode. Child fearing. The title says it all. It's basically a bad episode, definitely. I'm gonna flat out say this is definitely a bad episode. Basically, though, the way the episode starts, it starts off actually pretty, nice. Like, the professor's getting ready to go somewhere, and he calls the mayor to babysit him, and we actually get a cool Easter egg. The mayor's actually playing an N64, because at that time, that's when the N64 was a big thing. Yeah, the Powerpuff Girls show does that a lot, where they'll have references to things, like TV shows and stuff. Heck, occasionally they'll have, like, characters from the Hanna-Barbera universe appear in the show, too, which is really cool. I like shows that have references in them. However, it doesn't always mean the episode is good. And that's the case for this episode here. This episode is definitely just bad. And I'm going to get to why here. So the mayor decides, because he wants to finish playing this game, because he's playing The Legend of Zelda, a weird-looking animated version of it, because, I think to avoid copyright or something, they change the looks of it up or something, I'm not sure. But the mayor decides to call for a babysitter. And who does he call? He calls Mojo. He calls Mojo, though. That's who he calls, is Mojo. I don't know why the mayor called Mojo out of all the people. I don't know why he didn't get Miss Bellum to babysit them instead or something. I don't really know why he called Mojo. Heck, I don't even know how he got Mojo's number. I don't really get it. So Mojo, comes to babysit the girls, and I gotta say, this episode right here, the reason why it's bad, it may sound like it's good right now, but the reason why this episode is bad is because it freaking tortures Mojo. It's a torture episode. It tortures Mojo for no reason at all. You could argue, well, he was trying to get the girls to take over the world. That's the first half of the episode. The second half, he decides to just skip the whole taking over the world thing, and he decides to do that, and just babysits them instead. The freaking girls in this episode are freaking obnoxious. They're freaking annoying. I hate the Powerpuff Girls in this episode. I hate them. They're freaking annoying. Basically, they're screaming, causing chaos. They're freaking beating the crap out of Mojo for no reason at all. And like I said, he did want them to take over the world. But after that, after half of the episode's over, he doesn't want to take over the world anymore. He just wants peace. And the freaking girls are beating the crap out of him, yelling at him, screaming at him, freaking beating the crap out of him. Like I said, they're beating the crap out of him. It's freaking just frustrating as hell to freaking watch this episode. It really is. It's freaking frustrating I hate how, like, poor Mojo has to freaking deal with the girls freaking doing this. See, the whole point of a villain is you're not supposed to feel bad for him or her, whoever's the villain. But I just feel bad for Mojo in this episode. I feel really bad for him. Because like I said, all he wants is freaking peace and quiet. And the freaking girls are freaking beating him to death. They're freaking screaming at him. It's freaking frustrating as hell. It freaking really is. And like I said, he did want them to take over the world. But that's all he freaking does in this episode. That's all he does. That's all he freaking does. And he doesn't even take over the world. He freaking spends the first half trying to tell him to take over the world, but then he ends up changing his mind and doesn't want to. He says it himself, forget taking over the world, just go to bed or something. Or just watch TV or something, but it's freaking frustrating. Like especially the TV segment where they're freaking screaming at them to the top of their lungs or making noise, and then they freaking beat Mojo up, That's basically what they do. They beat up Mojo and freaking scream and all that throughout the entire episode. It's freaking frustrating. It really is. I really hate it. I really do. I know some people may like this episode, but for me, I don't like it. I hate it. I freaking hate it so much because I do feel bad for Mojo because, again, Mojo doesn't do anything really wrong in the episode besides, mentioning he wants them to take over the world. That's all he does. He's not really threatening to hurt them or anything. It's just freaking frustrating as hell to watch. Now, the thing is, too, there was actually a lot of bad episodes in Season 3 I could have reviewed. But I chose to review this one. I actually watched quite a few of them because I wanted to see, some bad episodes to review. This one I chose because there's a lot I could have chose from. Even the A episode of the two-parter, episode here is also bad too. But I chose this one because this one's more freaking frustrating than the other one. But yeah, I just freaking hate, especially hate like seeing Mojo's. I hate seeing like him in tears because he's so frustrated. He's so scared. That's how it's so sad. He's freaking in tears. He's so sad and scared of the girls. That's terrible. But yeah, this episode is freaking just bad. It's not good. I hate it. I freaking hate it so much. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a score right now. Between 0 and 120 points, this episode is getting 31 points. Now, 31 points may sound high for a bad. The reason why it's getting 31 points is because, yeah, it's frustrating to see Mojo get tortured for no reason. But the reason why it's getting a high bad is because of the fact that there's a reference to Zelda and the 64, which I'm not really a big fan of the 64. I was never a big fan of it. I tried it out. I'm one of those people that didn't care for the 64 as much, but it's still nice to reference a Nintendo console, Heck, even if they referenced the Virtual Boy, I would still not mind it, even though I never actually owned a Virtual Boy like a 64. Mine got stolen though, but yeah. But yeah, I never really, got into 64 either, but I still think, it was nice to reference that, and then I like the segment where Mojo is making, food and stuff. That was pretty nice. Apparently he's the #1 chef too. But what takes this episode away is the freaking girls are freaking annoying. They're really annoying, and they just freaking torture Mojo for the throughout the entire episode, they torture him by screaming and beating the crap out of him for no reason. No reason at all. And they even beat the crap out of him at the end to the point where he freaking wants to go to jail. That's how bad it is. It's not good to have your life be so miserable to the point where you want to go to jail. See, I've had that happen in Hannibal. Hannibal was so rough for me, like with my siblings pinching me with scissors and like, you know, throwing toys at me and chasing me, and my stepdad and my mother, you know, yelling at each other. They're divorced now, but it was so bad in Hannibal. I wanted to go to the hospital. Can I go for medication changes? Not to a mental hospital, you know what I'm saying, but actual, like, you know, like a doctor hospital, you know, where you get your medicine changed for about 2 weeks. That's how bad it was. And although the hospital in Colombia wasn't like, it's not terrible, but when I went there, but still, it's not good to be so frustrated or so stressed out or even scared to the point where you want to go to jail or a hospital. That's bad. That's freaking bad. And the fact that Mojo wants to go to jail because the girls are freaking beating the crap out of him and stuff, and freaking tormenting him throughout the entire episode, yeah, it's freaking sad. It really is. I hate this episode, and it could have been better. It probably would have been a low good if Mojo actually did something to the girls besides freaking, you know, it would have been higher if Mojo actually did something, you know, to the girls to make the girls want to beat the crap out of him. Like he actually, you know, maybe forces them to clean the house up, do the dishes or something. I don't know. And maybe even, you know, like, you know, even like tries to destroy them. But no, all he does in this episode is you know, tell him he wants to take over the world with them, and then he rejects it like halfway through the episode. And the last half of the episode where he's freaking in pain and misery because the freaking girl is not, you know, physically pain, but, you know, mentally pain, and because he's freaking so scared of the girls for beating the crap out of him and stuff. It may sound like I'm being over-exaggerated. I'm not kidding. I watched this episode freaking twice in the last week. I think I watched it over the weekend, but still, I watched this episode a few times. I had to rewatch it to make sure I got everything in there, but yeah, it could have been high. It still wouldn't have been a high good because the girls are freaking annoying, but if Mojo actually did something that he deserved to get beat the crap out of and stuff, then that would have been higher. Because there's actually another episode like this where they actually do this concept better, where Mojo is getting his breakfast and then decides to destroy the girls, and attempts to destroy the girls, and because they threw a ball in his window, and he just decides to destroy them, not because they threw the ball in the window, but because, you know, he wants to. Then that probably would have made the episode a bit better. But the fact that, you know, he does nothing wrong, this episode's just freaking bad. It's really bad. And I'm going to go ahead and let this go. I don't think I have a comment question for this particular video. People have not been really answering my comment questions anyway. It's probably because I only have 126 subs, But anywho, I'm going to let this go. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe like I said, and I will see you guys later. Bye.